With Lecture 7, Presentation 4, we focus on lessons from apes. Molecular genetics has provided remarkable insights on the ape-human connection. Let's begin with what was once thought to be a big difference, chromosome numbers, and then we can address our degree of genetic similarity. All great apes have more chromosomes, 48 in 24 pairs, than we have, 46 in 23 pairs. Look above and you can see 23 chromosomes in the human and 24 for the chimpanzee. But note chromosome 2 in us and chromosomes 2A and 2B in the chimpanzees. Our difference in chromosome number is entirely due to chromosome 2. All great apes have 2 chromosome 2s. As a result, they have more chromosomes. In humans, a mutation caused 2 chromosome number 2s to fuse together to form a single chromosome. Structural comparison reveals that the combined details of our single version are exactly like those of the 2 versions in great apes. In other words, the chromosome number difference is not meaningful. Genetically, in fact, we are closely related to African apes, but we are most closely related to the chimpanzees. Humans and chimps have 98.8% DNA similarity. Humans and gorillas, I'm sorry to say, it's only 98.4% DNA similarity. But don't forget to place this into context. You and the person next to you in the next room or wherever they are 99.9% similar in your DNA. Even so, it's pretty remarkable to see the strength of our genetic connection to African apes, with particular closeness to the chimpanzees. I know it's embarrassing, but they're our closest relatives. I love this cartoon. Notice the guy is wearing the Get Her Done t-shirt. The findings of field primatologists have forced a reassessment of what makes us human. Areas that we must now reconsider involve tool use and hunting behavior. Humans had been defined as man the tool maker by paleoanthropologists like Louis Leakey. In 1961, Leakey wrote, "When for the first time an ape-like creature made a tool in a regular and set pattern, he became, by definition, man." And here you can see some simple Oldowan stone tools. Well, chimpanzees didn't get the memo. On the left, this chimpanzee is using a wand to extract termites, and on the right, this chimpanzee is using stone tools to crack open nuts. And gorillas didn't get the memo. Gorillas walk into boggy areas, very wetland areas, in order to get roots and all sorts of great foods out of the water. But like all apes, they are susceptible to drowning. The problem is that with shoulder joints located out at the side of the body, as soon as they get into water, their arms go above their heads and they drown. And you cannot teach apes how to swim. So this smart gorilla is using a giant stick to probe how deep the water is before she wades into it. Pretty smart. And orangutans didn't get the memo. And this is one of my favorite pictures. Orangutans have a well-known reputation for taking fish, decorative fish like koi, out of people's ponds. But this orang has gone to an area where a fisherman has a net up. And if you look over to the right, you can see the netting in here. And the orangutan has gotten some sort of device, a pole of some sort, and or branch, and is going in and spearing fish that are caught up in the net. Smart. Okay, orangs really didn't get the memo. They don't like rain in their faces, so they are they make rain hats. The bigger the orangutan, the bigger and more elaborate the rain hat. And neither did crab-eating monkeys get that memo. So crab-eating macaques are named that name because they like to eat crabs. And so what they do is they get the crabs and they will drop giant rocks on them to open up the hard shell on the outside. Very smart. And rule-breaking capuchin monkeys do not read memos. They are one of the most recently discovered of tool-using primates in the wild, and they get rocks. They have to position a nut onto some sort of holding device, and then they drop the rock down on top of the nut to break open the shell and get the nut meat. Jane Goodall was the first to report non-human primate tool use. As she explained, the chimpanzee, with its advanced understanding of the relations between things, can modify objects to make them suitable for a particular purpose, and it can modify them to a regular and set pattern, in which she is aping Leakey's own words. Goodall documented wild chimpanzees modifying organic materials, plants, to construct tools, termite wands. It surprised many anthropologists. Some rejected her interpretation, and others thought that the chimps had merely aped human behavior. Humans are not known for sitting around and making twigs, modifying twigs so that they can get termites out of termite mounds. Others accepted Goodall's data, but quietly modified the definition of humans to man the stone tool maker. Well, very soon, Christoph and Hedwig Bosch had begun documenting West African chimps using stone tools to crack open nuts. Clearly, humans could not be defined as the stone tool makers. Now we know of chimpanzee organic and stone tool use at a number of sites. In addition, we have learned another lesson from ape tool use. Most chimpanzee tool use is by adult females. Youngsters first learn tool use from their very patient moms. Moms will sit there, break open nuts, give some of the nut meat to their babies, and at the same time the youngsters will pick up a rock and start using it to open up nuts. It's very difficult to learn. The young chimps need to find out that they need to keep their fingers out of the way while they're using the stone hammer. And they'll keep working at it and working at it. If they use too much force, they'll just smash all the nut to pieces. And moms will push the stuff aside and show them how to do it correctly. Same thing with termiting. It takes a lot of patience to do, and the young chimps learn from their moms. Adding to chimpanzee data on adult female tool use are ethnographic data documenting tool use by female humans. So we've got women using tools in Tibet and a female hide worker in East Africa preparing hides. It's a very arduous and labor-intensive job. And over on the right, I want to include females in my recent family, female farmers in the United States in the late 1800s. These are not my relatives, but I imagine that my family up in Montana did very much the same. While my great-great-grandfather was out plowing the fields, my great-great-grandmother and her daughters and all would have been doing all of the work on the farm itself, working with the animals, using tools to make foods, to open things up, to take care of the farm animals, etc. So women have always used tools. Regardless of gender, tools make life easier. That's all there is to it. The only solid variable about who uses tools is necessity, not Victorian values. In my household, I am the tool user. My husband does most of the cooking because I'm just not as good as he is at that task. But I use tools. I'm small in size. Sometimes I need tools to help me open things up because I'm just not strong enough to do it. And other times I use tools to build furniture and do all sorts of stuff. And I'm also known to pull off my shoe and use the heel to hammer a nail into a wall. So tool use is not a gender thing. It takes about 7 years for a young chimpanzee to master nut cracking skills and a little less, 5 years, to become skilled at termiting. The younger the individual is, the better. So young children learn these tasks much more easily than do older juveniles and adults. Chimp tool use indicates that we need to rethink our depictions of human prehistory. The data indicate that adult females used tools and contributed to early human survival. So then why can't I find great illustrations of women in prehistory making and using stone tools? Some claim that women are too small to make stone tools, but there are a number of women who successfully flint knap, and I argue, as a small woman, that sometimes women need tools more than males need tools. We're just not strong enough to do some things. It is my hope that one day a student in my classroom will have the artistic skills to accurately depict a woman in prehistory with stone tools in her hands as a participant in human evolution. And I'm showing you some images from the field of myself with my female students using tools to extract fossils from the ground. And here I am with my students, Kaya Renouf and Celeste Tompkins. We are quarrying for giant swamp cows. They're about the size of a hippo, and believe me, tools are a necessity. Now you are ready for Lecture 7, our final presentation, Presentation 5.